Hi, I'm Cheryl.
I'm Bill.
Welcome to Following Epsilon. The last week episode, we were leaving San Diego, and it was a beautiful day, and the seas were nice and smooth, and
Picture perfect.
Yes, and it continued to be a beautiful day. So we got in approximately, how long did it take us to get in?
We left at
6:30,
6 o'clock,
6
6:05, I think. And we got here about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes.
Yeah, so we made good timing, and we were able to get into the slip during daylight, which is very important, as we found out. And the slips here are a little different than what we're used to. This was kind of what Sun Harbor has. There's 2 boats to a slip, and then there's the side dock along that. So when we pulled up to our slip, the boat next to us had a line all the way across our slip, and we noticed that most of the boats do that here for stabilization, but we were a little freaked out because we're like, how are we supposed to get in there with the line there? But it turns out that the people were right there, and they quickly took it off, and they said usually the office will tell them that someone's coming in, but this time they forgot. So we used channel 17 on the
71
on the VHF to let the marina know we were coming in, and they said just go ahead and go to your slip. We already knew what slip number it was, and then we had pulled in, shored up the boat, and not too much longer the health inspector came out, and she just checked COVID wise,
took our temperature.
Yeah, our temperature, our oxygen levels, asked us a few questions. She looked at our papers, and then, at the end, I asked her, what is the COVID customs here? What's happening here in Mexico? And she says, please wear your mask. So we did that, and that was on a Sunday we came in. And
No, it was Saturday.
Saturday we came in, and the port captain for Ensenada is not open until Monday. So we could still move around once she gave us the okay, but we weren't official until we go to the port captain.
Right.
And the hotel marina here is has a great reputation for helping you, which we were very thrilled that they would do all this. Being our first time, you have to have what's the tip called? It's a
temporary import permit.
Yes.
That's temporary, but it's good for 10 years.
Yes. And in order to get that permit for the boat, there's quite a lot of rigmarole you had to go through.
Yeah, that was like 6 weeks in the making. Started way back in the end of July, and got that taken care of, and there was some mix up with the paperwork, and then finally got the digital copy of it, and then the hard copy of it after inspections went through it. But we got everything in order. And when we arrived in the marina, we're in quarantine, so we have to keep our quarantine flag up until such time that we are officially checked in. So Monday we went down to CIS with our agent, and it took about 2 hours or so. We had one other group of guys with us, and it went pretty good. There weren't any hang-ups, and then a couple hours later we were back at the boat, and we were able to take our quarantine flag down and hang up our Mexican flag.
There was also a thing called an FMM, which confused us to no end, because one documentation would say one thing and another documentation would say another thing. But what it is for the humans, you need a temporary pass, which they did not even question. It's for 140 days. How many days?
180 days. 6 months.
180 days we were given that, and we weren't sure if we had to ask for that or we had to present a reason why we would get that much, because apparently some countries or some websites were saying that you don't always standardly get that. So Wilson didn't count, so he didn't get one. He says hello. He fooled someone who's very happy because our next door neighbor here on the other boat the other day thought Wilson was real. So he was very thrilled with that. But he didn't need an FMN for him. So he's saying his hello. There are lots of pets here, lots of dogs. There are cats all over the place here. So this is a very animal-friendly place. We made friends with the other people who went down with us to get the paperwork done, and it turns out that the fellow's name is Dean, and he has a company up in Alameda that puts things on boats, electronics and all sorts of things. He does things for boats. He's done interiors. He's done all sorts of things. So we were very excited when we were talking to him that he used Victron electronics, which is the electronics we were looking at. And we didn't get an inverter when we got the solar panels because the company that put the wonderful solar panels in didn't really do inverters. So that's why we were so thrilled that Jason was able to help us hook up our bypass, which would be, we have a portable Duracell pack charger that it has an inverter on it. So having that on it, we could sort of get by without an inverter, but ideally it would be nice to have an inverter, and Dean is going to help us put that in. So we've been working on that quite steadily, trying to figure out where, what, how much, how to get supplies down here and that sort of thing. And then he had also mentioned he put in water makers, so we checked out his water maker and against Rain Man, and the only reason why Rain Man won, because with the price discount he was giving us, the only reason why Rain Man won was because we can get Rain Man. So everything is difficult to get down here, so we had it all shipped to our P.O. box in Long Beach, and we'll be going to make a supply run very shortly here. And the logistics of trying to get over the border and back, and what about cars, and what about all sorts of things, was kind of what we've been working on, just a lot of logistics.
Yeah, I think the most intimidating part for us, first time coming to Mexico, was there's a wealth of information on the internet, and you have to figure out what is realistic and what's not. And one of the things we're reading there in San Diego was, your prescriptions have to be in your regular prescription bottle, but you also have to have a written prescription. The alcohol can't exceed 3 liters. You're not allowed to carry spare fuel. And we're finding out that a lot of the things that we thought were set in stone actually aren't. Starting with the liquor. I'm literally giving liquor away in San Diego, only to find out that's not necessary.
Well, this is what the Panama Posse conveyed to us. So, we really thought that was a reliable source, because we were going to go with the Panama Posse, but there's no way we could have caught up with them and proceeded with them. So we're just kind of going it on our own. We did sign up for a group called Panama Posse, and these are a group of people who are serious cruisers going through the Panama Canal and out the rest of the world. So they have charts and trails that they use, and they have anchorages that they use and that they've written about. So is this a good anchor? Are you sheltered? What kind of bottom is it? How are the winds there? All that kind of pertinent data that has just been reviewed because they just left that anchorage or whatever. So we're kind of not thinking of Panama this year, but we were thinking it would be good just to listen to the chatter, because they have online chats, and they have a once a week call-in, which they'll give us weather updates and any more pertinent information of what happened to so-and-so or anything like that, so that hopefully you can avoid these situations. We also heard of another group. One thing I like about being here with the boat life is that people greet people, and they're really happy to share information or help you in any way they can. And so one of the other boats here recommended a Discovering Baja group, so we're going to look into that, but it has information on insurance and different other things. So, you know, it's important when you're going somewhere you don't know where you can get your provisions and what's safe, and what are the check-in procedures, and how is COVID now, and what are the COVID procedures as everything is changing so rapidly. We want to make sure we are prepared and we can get provisions if we need to. But having a water maker, being able to have our own power through solar is part of what will help us be independent. And then, of course, you have to have your food stores, right?
Yeah.
So
I think one of the learning processes for us is we're still learning even today about what you need here, as much as you think you've read everything. Talking to our insurance this morning, trying to figure out how far we're permitted to go. We're told right now that we can stay in Mexico for 120 days. Yes. And at that point, if we left Mexico, looks like our next stop would be Costa Mesa, then Panama, then the Panama Canal, and then return to the U.S. on the east side.
Costa Rica?
Yes, Costa Rica.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's still a learning process, because we found out today in talking with our insurance company that we actually have to have Mexican insurance too. They'll cover the damages to the boat, but they don't provide the personal liability. And we're surprised that our marina didn't ask for the Mexican insurance, because that's what they say on the internet. But we went ahead and got a 6-month policy for about $170, so that takes care of that. And then we printed it out at the marina office, and of course they kept a copy because they need a copy. They're supposed to have a copy. So further down, it may arise where the port captain, every time you come into a marina, is going to ask for our insurance. So not only do you need the endorsement of your regular insurance company in the U.S. that says you're allowed to go in Mexican waters, then you have to have the Mexican insurance too. Yeah. So everything is a learning process. Even just getting back across the border, we plan to go back to Long Beach Thursday to take care of some business and pick up some packages and that, and we're trying to figure out the best route to get back home, the cheapest route, and the safest route, and then also coming back and all the packages that we have and how that applies as far as duty taxes and stuff like that. So everything is a learning process. Once we get all this behind us, we'll probably understand the Mexican law pretty well, and then I'm sure we'll have to go through it all over again in maybe Costa Rica. So
yeah,
but we're getting the gist of it, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, and it's really helpful to talk with other boaters and other people who have shared their experiences of what's happened to them and how they do things, because there are people who have been here years, like 11 years, and other people who've been here not even 6 months yet, and other people who've just arrived, you know, so everybody's always trying to learn different things. Like we learned that there's a app called DIDD, and they use that mostly instead of Uber, but it's the same type of thing, only the drivers get paid better, so they like that one better.
But the service is cheaper for us.
Yeah. I think the peso now is close to $20 to $1 at this time. So, the conversion, learning the conversion of another currency, I made a grave error. I thought it was $5 and it was $25 or $20 or something like that when I bought something.
They actually have a Costco here, so that was quite convenient. But when we checked out, it was like $180, and I thought we were like maybe $50 or $60.
Cheryl made an error.
And we bought 6 of these errors, right? As gifts. We thought, wow, for $5, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
But you learn to start to do the math really quick. That 1,000 pesos is $50. So just kind of keep that in your head. 500 must be 25. $5 to every 100. And then that's important. You'll learn that real quick when you go out to eat, or you have to give a tip in the taxi cab there. You don't want to give too much, but you don't want to give too little either.
Yeah.
But it's starting to become second nature already.
Oh, good.
So
this is Bill's first trip to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So not my first, but it's been a long time since I've been here. And coming by sea is a whole different thing. On the way over, we got to see, in the distance, we saw these spouts just shooting up. And I thought, what is that? Well, it was a bunch of whales. And we didn't want to get too close because we didn't want to interfere with them or them to hurt our boat or anything like that, but it was amazing to see the whales. I actually got some tails and some spouts, and you could actually hear them breathing. That was really cool. And then there were smaller black dolphins, a whole bunch of smaller black dolphins just swimming along. They didn't want to play in our wake. Sometimes dolphins will play in your wake and swim with you. And then we saw some seals, and it was funny because he was just kind of floating there, and you see this arched thing, and you're like, what is that? Is that a seal? And then he looks at you and goes, ha ha, and he goes back in the water. So that was really cool to see that. We enjoyed all the sea life coming in, and we look forward to one of the fellas here has a second boat, which is a charter boat, and he goes, oh yeah, there's whales all over here. And so he goes, come on out with me, and we can see the whales. And he also does fishing, so that might be a good intro. I didn't throw the fishing line over on the way down because we were just trying to make sure we had plenty of daylight before we got in, and I was trying to learn a little bit of how to steer and what the autopilot does exactly, and putting a little more time in at the wheel. So there's so much to learn. Boating is so much fun.
And so much work.
Yes, there's always something to do.
80% work and 20% leisure, but it's work that you enjoy.
Yeah.
It's taking care of the boat, but every day you have to do something for the boat.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
so far here we've lucked out. It's a 5-star hotel. So they have 3 pools, 3 jacuzzis, they have a spa, they have a beautiful restaurant, they have really nice grounds for the boating community. They have 3 women's showers and 4 stalls, and it's a really nice restroom. And I don't know what they have in the men's, probably comparable to that. And then they have a nice laundromat here. The marina office is extremely helpful, and there's lots of security. To get on the dock, you have to pass, if you are in a car, you have to pass 2 gates and a person separate than the gates, and then you have to have key to get onto the dock. So it's very secure. They also have during the daytime employees stationed just looking to see who's wandering around here, you know. So we feel very safe here. And it's very nice according to American standards, you know. So this has been a great relaxation. We've mostly been just treating it like vacation. I mean, we have been extremely busy trying to procure all the things that we need for our upcoming journey, because after this, no car, no Amazon, and delivery would be none, and availability will be questionable, because there's a lot of boats down south at La Paz and Cabo and Mazatlan, but I don't know if they're having supply issues like we are.
We shouldn't need it though.
Yeah, hopefully we've got everything we need now.
Yeah, moving forward, we're going to try to stick with the day sailing schedule, if at all possible, after going aground there in San Diego, coming in late. And it's good that we didn't come into this marina at night, because the opening is tricky. It's hard to see even in the daytime.
Yeah.
Until you get right close to the shore. And then you got to make a quick 90-degree turn left to come in.
Yeah.
So we realized that from here on out, we can make day trips. And I think the next stop would be Cabo Colonet. Has good anchorage, and then there's the next one was San Quintin, and then the next one is Magdalena. And Magdalena is kind of like the last major stop, even though there's not any provisions there to speak of. After that, it's 183 nautical miles to Cabo San Lucas, so that requires both the day and night travel. But at that point, we'll feel a lot more comfortable with the boat.
Fingers crossed.
And hopefully put out the sails, and it won't be too bad. And then once we pass Cabo, to me, it gets a little bit better, because you're into the Sea of Cortez, and head up towards San Jose, La Paz, and then ultimately ending up in Mazatlan.
Which would be on the
April.
mainland, yeah.
Right.
So we'll see how all this goes. The Panama posse left like little breadcrumbs for us to follow, and their whole thing was that they wanted you to go in the daylight so that you can see everything, because the radar and the AIS, the automatic identification system, doesn't pick up on everything, because not everybody has an AIS, so you can't see every boat. And then there's just stuff floating sometimes. And on the way in, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden Bill goes, "Oh, we're in 7 feet. Oh, we're in 6 feet. Our boat's draft or bottom is 4 feet, right?" So we got all the way down to 5 feet, and then Bill veered off a little bit, but there's nothing marked.
Yeah, just prior to that, we were in 500 feet of water.
Yeah.
And then when it dropped so quickly, we knew we were either passing a reef or something swam under our boat.
Yeah.
But we veered to the starboard side real quick, and then it got deep again. And so, but everybody tells us, they think there's a reef out there, so you stay a good distance from the coast here.
Yeah.
So even coming down, it's nice to hug the coast. You can see all the landscape, and scenery, and everything. But you also have to be careful of obstacles, unmarked obstacles, fishing nets, fishing boats. That's why we're committed to daytime travel when at all possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Bill's getting real adept at watching. Which app is it?
We use Bridge Traffic for watching other boats on AIS. And buoy weather is good for telling us before we sail what the wave height is going to be, the wind velocity, and things like that. So
and the frequency of the
waves.
waves.
And then Windy is another good app that we like.
Yeah, so that's been a learning process as well, to understand that Cheryl likes the waves to not be frequent at all, like every 15 seconds. And Cheryl likes about 2 feet. I mean, that was what we got all the way coming down, which was marvelous. It was just a dream. But there was no wind. So we couldn't sail at all, you know. So the waves were perfect, but no wind. So thus the luxury of being in a motorboat or a sailboat on this boat that we have. It can be either, and it's got enough power that if we are motoring, we're making pretty good time.
Yeah, I think if we found out that most people say that if you want to be safe in this sailing process, you can't follow a schedule, period. So if you're trying to get to a certain point by a certain time, you end up kind of throwing caution to the wind, no pun intended, and trying to get to point B, but the weather may not be favorable. So we really waited probably about a week till we had that perfect day to come to Mexico in the first place. Because, you know, the first step into Mexico is intimidating enough.
Yes.
You don't know if you're going to be boarded by Mexican Coast Guard or what, you know. And we didn't hardly see anybody. We followed the same sailboat all the way into Ensenada. We did see the Coast Guard ships right there at the border. And we have some of those pictures on our Facebook. So, but other than that.
Well, the sunsets have been absolutely marvelous. And as you're on a boat, one of the things you tend to notice more is life slows down a bit and you pay way more attention to nature, whether it be the wind is windy today or the fog is rolled in or the, you know, the sunsets are gorgeous and the sun rises. I mean, you just pay much more attention to nature. And that's been really nice.
At the same time, each day goes by really quick here, though.
It does.
Just get up around 8 o'clock and it's clear skies, never a cloud in the sky around here, maybe a little fog in the morning. And then,
usually.
Sometimes it's a little breezy in the morning and then it calms down around noon and then the breeze picks back up and then it comes back down again. So we're constantly either putting long sleeve or short sleeve shirts on. But the day goes by so quick, especially when it gets dark 4:45. So by 7 o'clock, we feel like it's 11 o'clock at night. It's time to go to bed. So.
Well, one of the fellas who's been living here for 11 years was saying you have to dress every day like for 4 seasons because it's cold and then it's hot and then it's really hot and then it's cold again and then it's freezing at night. Well, freezing is only 50 degrees, you know, so that's been interesting. But he said this has been the nicest of the 11 years that he's been here, the nicest winter so far. So we're very blessed to have such nice weather while we're here for the first time. So our big voyage won't happen until after the holidays, so we can go see family and all of that.
Take care of some business.
And then we're anxious to begin, and we should have all our new equipment installed by then. So until next time, thank you for watching us. And Wilson does say thanks too, and don't forget to push the subscribe button so that when we do another video, you'll get a little bell. Okay?
Fair winds and following seas.
Bye!